Good morning, still morning. Okay, good morning, my loves, and happy vlog day. Okay, so what's today? Wednesday? Wednesday for me, Friday for you. Crazy thing enough, I made a video yesterday. I recorded a video yesterday where I'm still talking about the same thing I'm talking about today, which is the way, as a woman in a relationship, the way my partner's actions frame the way I show up in other relationships, right? Specifically as a woman, the way a man's actions will make me treat another woman. Yesterday I made a video, and I'll be honest, that video was very emotional in nature. And it messaged things that I should have been saying to my therapist, not to y'all. I want to be raw and unedited in my vlog, but I do everything in my life with intention. And I feel that the intention around my communication yesterday was so much more aggressive than it is right now that I've actually had a conversation with my partner. And truthfully, I believe that the woman I am today, after I've talked to my partner about the thing that I was speaking about during our vlog, is a more accurate visual representation of myself. Yesterday, I was hurt. And I sat here in front of my camera for 30 minutes and basically snapped at my partner. Indirectly, because he don't even watch these videos. And then today, we had a conversation, and the young lady that, we're cool with, I'll start to call her our friend. That's what the conversation was about. The conversation was about my partner telling me that he would prefer that I not put more weight on his friendship with the young lady that we see physically than it is. Now, obviously, they're not just normal friends, right? They're friends with benefits because we all have the benefit of sleeping with one another. But their desire to engage with one another is basically casual. It's kind of the way, I ain't gonna lie to you, the way a lot of females are friends with one another. The way us ladies got friends that we gonna brunch with, kick it with, and sometimes if we didn't get back from a brunch, we gonna get up in bed and do a little couple of things with them. And some of y'all are like, that's not a friend. I don't have that type of friend. We can call it a friends with benefit if that is what you want, but being real, I'm recognizing that they have no desire to be with each other in an emotional sense. Now, I had to tell my partner today, the reason why it has taken me a while to wrap my brain around that is because of the way in which he crossed the line in our relationship early on. Early on in our relationship, my partner jokingly, and I have no proof to say whether this was a true joke or not, which is what I said to him today. Whether it was a true joke or not, my partner attempted to engage in sexual activity with this young lady without my knowledge. Now, for those of you who are watching this and thinking, y'all are poly, he should be able to fuck whenever he wants to, there's where you misconstrue. We can't do what we want when we want just because we're poly. Actually, and like I said last week, you find yourself having more conversations for clarity when you are poly, because you find yourself needing to clarify things more often when there are more people involved in your relationship. If me and my partner decide to have sex with a young lady, if he ever wants to have sex with that young lady, or if I ever want to have sex with that young lady, both of us must communicate with our partner. We have a commitment to. Last week, I found myself inviting somebody who had no desire to have a commitment with us, when what I was trying to say is I would like for her to be around more. And if there was anything about me that was making her not be around more, I want to clear the air. which is what I communicated to my partner today. But I also had to communicate to him that there was trust broken in our relationship that also created my standoffish energy to this young lady, because he made the decision to tell a crude joke or to do what I would consider an unnecessary test of this young woman's loyalty. If you brought her to our relationship, you shouldn't need to test her loyalty. And if you are going to test her loyalty, that is something that I feel like I should have been made aware of prior to. He did it on his own recognizance. She denied him and told him she would never do that to me. She loves me too much. I have never given her a reason to do that to me. She wouldn't do that to me. He and I we could not pinpoint the timeline, but the timeline, like I told him, the timeline doesn't matter, because you can't tell me that when you finally told me about it, that it was the day of. And he said, no, it didn't happen the day of. Cool. I don't care if it happened weeks later, months later, days later. If you didn't come right in that house the day you did that, and the day she denied you and told me, you're wrong. And what you did made me look at her crazy. As women, we find ourselves looking at other women crazy because of the actions of men, instead of telling that man, you created this energy. It's because we love that man, right? I love my man. I don't want to break up with him. I was nervous to have the conversation today. And I saw, because he's at work and I'm right here at work. I could tell that he was just kind of like, damn, I really don't want to be talking about this. Because we started off talking about my vacation for my birthday. We started off having a fun conversation about Jamaica, and it became a very serious conversation about our feelings and our emotions. And sometimes I do get nervous to have serious conversations with him, especially when we're already having a lighthearted conversation, because it kind of feels like, damn, here I come with the damper. But it's like, it's necessary. It's necessary to speak your truth. Like, even today, I gave him feedback on some of the ways he even shows up intimately in our bedroom. Like, babe, I like when you do this, but when you do this, it gets excessive and it gets to be too much. And that thing has started to make me not really want to have sex with you. It make me not really want to put me and you in these situations. And he was like, I can take feedback, baby. Thank you for telling me that. I'm going to be more mindful of it. Because what I also recognize about my partner, and I had to recognize this about my partner because I didn't know it, where I am a person who I will go just as far as I think a person should go. And then if I see it's safe, I'll go a little bit further. My partner is the opposite. He goes all the way. And if he sees that he needs to pull himself back, he will. But he starts at full throttle. And we've been running full throttle for a pretty long time. And he does these things. And for a lot of our relationship, I just sit here in this house and I'll do my vlog, or I'll just walk around the house, or I'll just sit here in my head and I'm going crazy. I'm crying about stuff that he said to me. I am, you know what I mean? I am having nightmares about stuff that he has said to me, because in his mind, he was just joking, or in his mind, he was just being, a fool, or in his mind, he was just speaking his intrusive thoughts because he's intoxicated. But I'm such an overthinker that when I am not intoxicated, when we are not in those moments, when my brain gets quiet, that's the thing that slips in. He said that to you. He did that to you. That was rude. And one of the things that constantly slipped in my mind that I realized started to make me feel a way about this young lady was, I constantly thought to myself, like, what would he have done if she had failed your test? I asked him that today, and he was like, of course I wouldn't have done it. And it's just like, and I told him, I'm like, I don't have any proof that you wouldn't have. And I was like, the only thing that I can stand on is your word, right? I trust your word. But as a woman, you have to understand why that still is hurtful for me. Like, I feel like he feels like, because I communicated to you, we should be good. And I had to tell him the fact that it happened at all created issues in us being good. And it took time. It took me seeing her consistently respect me. It took me seeing you consistently respect me. It took you not playing as much as you played at the beginning of our relationship. You maturing and growing up for me to say, actually, I want to stay in this relationship. And I want to be with this person even though this situation happened. And these are the steps I need to take towards having more trust for him. After I took those steps and I felt more secure, during our anniversary weekend, I said to them, but I was drunk and high. So I said to them, I want her to be my girlfriend. Both of them looked at me crazy because neither of them want that for each other or for themselves. She probably don't want to be in another relationship, let alone with two motherfuckers. And he has enough on his plate when it comes to me and really not trying to get into another relationship. I think today's conversation helped bring everything full circle for me. Like today, I said to him, there was distrust there. Because it's funny, in the midst of me talking to him, he like, do you want to have this conversation again? Like, asking me, do I need to have the conversation again with her? And it's like, no, I don't need to talk to her. And me and you not going to even be talking about this long. Today, though, it was important for me to give him feedback that's going to help my 35th birthday celebration be good, right? If this young lady does come out to Jamaica with us, then that's great for me because it's too many diseases out here to just be trying to find somebody to mess with. I think that's another thing that I feel like when I constantly bring her up, I feel like my partner be like, oh my God, you just overdoing it. You trying. But it's like, nah, like this is somebody whose body I know you trust, which means that you are aware of who she is, isn't being engaging with. Our only other options is to kind of like go to poly parties, to kind of be outside. And those things are so scary. I lean to her because she's been a constant. She's been here for 4 years. The problem was that moment, and I wasn't mature enough to say, I wasn't brave enough until today to say, you hurt my feelings by doing that, even if you were just joking. Because I didn't want him to be like, oh my God, now I can't joke. But it's like, actually, I do want to say that. Because I do want you to feel like, no, you cannot joke like that. You can't joke about hurtful things. Me being a woman who allows you, well, not really allows you, but who gives you the permission to practice ethical non-monogamy while still maintaining a healthy monogamous relationship. Well, not a monogamous relationship, but a healthy one-on-one relationship, because our relationship isn't monogamous, obviously. But a woman who is not practicing ethical non-monogamy just to please you, like a woman who is truly happy about this is who I am. You created an insecurity in me that didn't even exist because you told a crude joke. You played a crude joke. And you want me to just let it go, and I get it. I do want to let it go, but you have to understand that that joke was set right on top of a foundation of discomfort. I trust you more than I trust any other person in this world because I've given you my heart. And then on top of knowing that you have my heart, which is the ability to hurt me more so than anybody else in this world, I also allow and allot the freedom for you to move about this life, engaging with activities with other women freely. So in your mind, everything is cool because she didn't take the bait. And you can keep having a friendship with her. And me and you can keep having our great relationship. But your brain doesn't work like my brain. My brain has a problem with the thought in the first place. My brain wants to know, why was that the way you tested her loyalty? My brain wants to know, who else's loyalty do you randomly test? My brain overthinks about your intentions. If you are a man and you watch my content and you are in a relationship with a woman, you need to understand that her brain doesn't work the way your brain works. Sometimes she needs an extra conversation because she needs to make it work and make it make sense in her brain. And as a woman, we need to have more grace and understanding for the fact that a man's brain doesn't work the way our brain works. I don't want to look at what he did and be like, you ain't shit. You horrible. You shouldn't have did that shit in the first place. All of those things minus you ain't shit, because he is, that's not true at all. All of those things are true. You shouldn't have did it in the first place. It shouldn't have happened. However, because I know that our brains don't work the same, and I know that truly you did not have any malicious intent. I was about to say any malice, but any malicious intent behind the action, I can move forward in a relationship. I can feel comfortable to continue to engage physically with this woman. And that's good because she knows what she's doing. And I don't have to put pressure on any of us. Today's conversation with me letting him know the pressure is now off of my heart. And so you're going to see a different level of communication from me. And I feel like he received that and he understood that and he was cool with that. The biggest thing, and I guess to piggyback off of like what love has taught me last week, because I think this week I'm going to, I guess, title this my thoughts from last week. Because, or this might just be what love is teaching me part 2. Because last week I spoke about love teaching me how to love myself and communicate and be an individual and understand. After I gained that understanding this week, I had a conversation from a place of your brain doesn't work the way my brain works, and my brain doesn't work the way your brain works. But we have to do life together. We have to be in this relationship together. And in order for us to do that, we got to talk about the way our brain works. The way my brain works, I didn't trust you or her after that situation. And you thought that was going to make me trust the both of you so much more. It shouldn't have happened in my brain. However, what's also in my brain is the reality of the fact that it has happened. So now I'm asking myself, before I talk to him, what do we want? I want to be with him. I want to be friends with her. I love her. I think she's so cool. And I think that's another reason for the distrust that I have in her, because I like you and it feels like you don't like me. But the reality of the situation is not that she doesn't like me. I'm used to people who overtly try to talk to me. And I don't even like talking to them. They're not that interesting to me. I think she would be a really interesting person to have conversation with, but she not all over my ass like everybody else. And maybe that's why I think she's so interesting. The girl probably ain't got shit going on for herself. I just probably interested because she's not a fan. It's another reason why I feel like I'm super in love with my partner. He's not a fanboy. He doesn't think everything that I do is just so amazing. And I am learning from my own place of pride to stop trying to keep fans around me. People that just tell me anything because they think I'm so sweet and I'm so kind and I'm so nice. I need people around me to tell me the truth. I need people around me that aren't impressed about everything that I do. I need people around me that balance out my life. And truthfully, the person that I spend every day with does that in a lot of ways. I just have to also understand that he is human. I feel like sometimes as a woman, it's easy to kind of forget that. This man is a man. Yes. He's supposed to do certain things. Yes. You've already been through enough with your father and other men in your life, so you don't want to go through nothing else. Yes, but he is still a human being. He is still a human being who, like you, did not grow up in a household with a strong man that was there all the time. He also grew up in these neighborhoods where there are very few examples of what it means to be a real man. And he grew up in a rougher neighborhood of the city than I did. He grew up in the projects. I have never lived in a project building a day in my life. So I can only imagine the examples of males and manhood that he's had in his life. He's not used to even caring about a woman's feelings, let alone sitting down and having a whole conversation with her about them. And so another thing that love is teaching me is, how can I put this? People gonna fuck up. I fuck up. And I think sometimes I pretend like I don't fuck up as much as I do in the presence of another person's fuck up to make myself feel better. But if I'm being 100% honest, that's delusional. I know that I have made decisions in this relationship that are just as detrimental as him testing that girl and seeing if she would take the bait. The difference between him and me, though, is he's actually communicated that to me, and I haven't communicated those things to him. Mostly because those people that were involved are no longer, I'm not trying to make them a part of the relationship, and I've moved on from it, but still, he's talking to me about his mess. I don't always talk to him about mine. I sit around here with feelings in my chest and in my head and in my heart, negative ones at that, about him, and don't tell him until I've ironed them all the way over. That's not fair. And so what I will affirm in myself this week as I wrap us up, I affirm in myself, I deserve to communicate my feelings the way I did. I had some accountability to take last week, and I did. I gave accountability this week and told him, I need you to take accountability for that hurt. And he did, and I appreciate him. Things that I can work on in this relationship. Communicating before it all bubbles up and bubbles down. Stop being afraid to have a tough conversation because you feel like you have too many tough conversations. Maybe I'm having all the tough conversations because the other parties are not able to. But these conversations help things run smoothly. So I have to stop beating myself down. And the final thing that I want to do is I want to unclutch, y'all. I want to unclutch. I am high strung. I am an overthinker. I take everything and I analyze it all the way down to the little millisecond. And it's killing me. It's killing me. Like, for instance, and I'll let us go after I tell this story. For instance, today we were talking about my birthday. He asked me, did I invite a good friend of mine who I have been physical with? I've been physical with a lot of my friends. Damn. And the young lady that I referenced from our, what's the name? For me, it's like, I don't want to bring two people that I've had sex with on this trip because I don't know who I'm going to pick to have sex with or when or what. He's like, you don't have to worry about that. You say all of this from the place of assuming that they're going to be up your, again, what I said earlier. I assume that if I'm in an environment with people who have already had sex with me, they're going to be thirsty to have sex with me, and it's going to make me feel bad to tell them no. Girl, sometimes ain't nobody worried about you. Sometimes ain't nobody thinking about you. I sat in this bed, this very bed, and basically told both of them, if you guys are sitting around talking about me and thinking about how comfortable I feel with y'all friendship, I want you to know I'm comfortable. And they were like, okay, but we don't talk about you. We don't think about you. I'm self-centered. I think everybody's talking about me and thinking about me. And I want to get out of that. Like, I like loving myself. I ain't gonna never stop being that type of self-centered. But the type of self-centered that makes you think that every conversation that's being had behind your back with two people that know you have something to do with you is a sickness. And I am going to get well. ASAP. Because that shit weird. That man has a relationship or a friendship. I told him also today that I'm going to stop poking fun at his friendship. Because I want him to stop poking fun at my friendship with my best friend. And I can't tell him stop poking fun at my friendship and then I do the same thing to him. So My partner has a friendship with a young woman that has nothing to do with me, and that is okay. Trying to push them into being a couple because if y'all gonna do something, y'all just gonna do it. That's weird. I was just being weird. Y'all. Even the video that I made yesterday where I'm just like, I'll be honest with you. I'm gonna tell y'all what the video was about. We're gonna be here for about 30 minutes or more. I ain't gonna even lie to you. Today gonna be a long week. My video yesterday was me ironing out a theory that I have. It is my belief that what he did, because it still bothers me, what he did when he tested her made her feel like our relationship wasn't as strong as she thought it was, and it made her not want to be in a relationship with us. I have no proof of that. Nothing in the true nature of what's going on in our relationship even examines that, because we all slept together even after he did the whole test thing. Now that I sit here with y'all and talk about it and think about it, we slept together again after the situation occurred. My brain wanted to make it make sense because my brain still needed to say what I said to him today, which was, the situation hurt me. Even if you didn't have sex with her, you damn near should have, because it hurt me just as bad as it probably would have if you did it, because you did it in the first place. And he gets that and he's like, "You right, baby. I'll never do something of that nature again." And really, unless I truly want to be done with this relationship, which we know that I don't, that is the best possible outcome. The best possible outcome is that my feelings were communicated. My partner understands and identifies where that wrong is and has committed to not doing it again. That's it. My brain, though, because I'm an overthinker, is like, well, is this really the truth? Is he really saying what he means? And I know that I'm not the only woman that sit around doing this. I know that for a fact because I'm a life coach, and I sit and I take women off of their it's so funny. I get off of my overthinking ledge to sit on the phone with women and talk them off their overthinking ledge, and I will get off the phone with them and go right back out on my ledge. I recognize overthinking as I'll say functional balance to being a detailed-oriented person. Most women are detailed-oriented. Because we take the moments to do the cute little stuff. You got to know that person that can do all the small little things, they think about the small little things, whether good or bad. When you recognize that is yourself, you have to create a life that says to yourself, I know this is who I am, so I'm not going to put myself in that situation. Like I told my partner, I'm not going to invite those two girls. Well, first of all, one of them just not available anyways. I already asked before we asked the young lady that me and him were we were messing with. And she said she still don't know yet if she can come. But I had to tell him, even though you're right, and the more I unclutch, I pray that I can not have these thoughts in my head. But right now, where my head is, I feel like doing that will set me up for not a good experience as an overthinker. I have already overthought the worst. And this is how overthinking works for me. I'm sorry, y'all. My ADHD is fucking crazy right now. Come back. Because I started a bunch of sentences and didn't finish them. Okay. I am an overthinker. I would like to do less of it. I feel like I'm in a relationship with the perfect person to do less overthinking. However, in the meantime, it is my responsibility as an overthinker to set myself up for situations where I'm not going to overthink. Because when I do overthink, I go as far as I can to the worst, as far as I can to the best. The way I make a decision is if going as far as I can to the worst doesn't hurt me, then I probably will go ahead with it. If going as far as I can to the worst is something that I can't deal with, I don't do it. That has helped me a lot because I can't change who I am. yet. I'm working on it. As I work on it, it is important that I speak up for myself. Quick nail update. I clipped my nails. My nail tech did offer to redo them. I talked to her. She let me know that she did not mean to not listen to me. I just haven't had time to get to her shop. I'm just going to probably let these grow out, and then we just going to go fresh new set. And hopefully when I come in for that fresh set, she probably give me a discount. I pray she give me the set for free. I really do. But I'm going to still pay her something, even if she gives it to me for free. Because material still costs. You know what I mean? And I sat there and let her do my nails without saying anything. There are so many things that I know that I need to work on. And I have to keep reminding myself that I am actively working on them every day, because sometimes I do beat myself down. And I don't deserve that. So, love is teaching me how to love myself. And I think this week I will title it More Things Love is Teaching Me. Love is teaching me how to love myself by putting things in front of me that don't represent love and allowing me to say, hey, I don't want to be loved like this. I want to be loved like that. That is what the last year or so of my relationship has been. Because at the beginning of the relationship, I'll be honest with you, I was just like, give me whatever you got. I like this. I wasn't raising no issues. I wasn't doing anything. That's why I believe at the beginning of this vlog, I did a lot of crying. I did a lot of tearing up. I did a lot of sadness. I was in this bitch going crazy for real, because I really didn't have any clarity. In the last year or two, I've just been like, hey, I got to say something to you. I got to speak on this. I got to say something. And he's like, first of all, I feel like he's just beat me with pride, because he knows that any person would have an issue with certain things. So when I used to be like, oh, it's okay, everything is good, I'm fine, he knew on the inside I was fucking dying. So the fact that I am being open and saying, actually, babe, I don't like when you do that. Actually, babe, can you not do that? Actually, babe, he is like, go ahead, girl. Just like I watch him about to do something and he go, I don't need to do that. I don't need to say that. I appreciate that. I appreciate that he is working on his restraint, and I can tell that he appreciates that I am working on my, excuse me. I can tell that he appreciates that I'm working on my assertiveness. And so, as I learn to love myself, I am so grateful that I am in a relationship with a person who I can have open and honest conversations about, which increases the love that we have for one another. I hope y'all have a great week and a great weekend. See y'all next week.